I'm not a famous YouTuber, and this channel is mainly for me to do whatever the fuck I want. I want to talk about Helluva Boss, because after watching the latest episode, which really fucking hurt my feelings, I think that I have all the evidence I need to go ahead and explain why Blitz has that forehead mark. So I've been theorizing about this for a little bit, and it was really nice to know that I was in fact correct. Now, a popular theory seems to be that it marks him as part incubus, because I've seen that a lot. When I looked up what the mark was, because I wanted to see if anyone else had come to the same conclusion as me, and I couldn't find it. Mainly what I looked up, it was saying, oh, it represents that he's part incubus, or some metaphor about love or whatever, that he can't find it. But that is, I disagree about that very strongly. I don't think that it's symbolic, and I don't think that he chose to have that on his forehead. And I'm going to explain why now. But first of all, I think that we need to lay out everything we know about the mark, and we actually know quite a lot, especially thanks to this newest episode. So, we know that Blitz's entire family has it. You can see it here on both Barbie Wire and Tilla. And in the latest episode, we can also see it on Blitzo's dad, who is canonically named Cash Buxo. However, we know that this mark is not restricted to his family, and probably isn't some kind of hereditary trait or anything, because Fizz has it too. You can see he has it as a child, and he also has it as a teenager in his photograph with Blitz. And along with Fizzaroli, all the other imps at the circus in the latest episode also have that mark. And on top of that, where else do we see the symbol? On the stage of the circus that they're performing on. So, I think that that's pretty telling. We know that the mark is permanent, as despite Blitz's blatant hatred towards Fizz in his past, it's still on him after all those years. And that spot on Fizz's forehead and the Robo-Fizz's is covered by a decorative heart, which most likely symbolizes the deadly sin of lust, Asmodeus, and that Fizzaroli is Asmodeus's property. And, of course, in canon, we also know that imps and hellhounds are the lowest of the low in society. They are beneath every other class of hellborn, as well as below sinners, which brings us to my theory, and you guys have probably guessed it already. I think that mark is some kind of permanent mark of ownership over all the imps in the circus, and it marks Blitz and everyone else there as property. And I think, in fact, that they are property of the deadly sin of greed, Mammon. And I also have some reasons why I think that. So, going back to that photograph of Fizzaroli and Blitz as teenagers, aside from them both having the marks, you can see that they both have shirts referencing Mammon. And we know that Mammon is canonically the owner of Lululand. Even if that's not where Blitz's circus originally performed, it probably was, but I can't say for certain, that same circus is now operating at the Rip-Off theme park along with the Robo-Fizz. Which does make me wonder if the circus, was always under Mammon's jurisdiction, and I'm pretty confident that it was. I mean, it must have been a pretty well-rated and popular circus for Paimon to take Stolas there as a kid. I don't think that he would have taken Stolas to a really cheap imp circus if it wasn't like some sort of professionally owned whatever. It had, it's got to be up to his standards, right? Because he's a geisha. It also raises the question of what this means for Blitz and Fizzaroli growing up. Because if they both worked at the circus, starting as children, and are working under a deadly sin, people who like angst are going to be having a field day with this one. And this also pretty much confirms that Fizz and Blitz grew up in the greed ring of hell, and we already knew he didn't grow up in Wrath, because when Stolas mentions he's going to the Harvest Moon Festival, he says, oh, my employees are from there. So Blitz actually grew up in the ring of greed, which does make some sense considering, him and his business. Anyways, I'm probably going to wrap it up here real short and sweet, like more of my videos should be. That's the T. That's what the mark is. I can say with 100% confidence that the mark on Blitz's forehead symbolizes that he was the property of Mammon. And I really hope that in the future we get an episode involving the Greed Ring, where maybe they have to go there And I think that would be very fun because obviously the other Imps and Greed are going to recognize that symbol, and possibly even Mammon would be involved because we've already seen Asmodeus be involved in an episode. So I think that would be very, very good for lore, and I am foaming at the mouth for the next episode, which probably isn't going to come out for a while. But in the meantime, at least we have Baby Blitz and Baby Stolas.